Hey, thanks for joining me today. I am going to be showing you that I am more than my meat by making comfort food. The comfort food I'm making today is creamy mashed potatoes. And this is going to be this is a little bit more of my classic creamy mashed potatoes, because when I think about comfort food, I often go to potatoes and it's centered around making it mashed. I love mashed potatoes. You can have with so many different things. All right, so I have my potatoes and I'm just gonna start off by peeling these up. Some people will leave the skin on their potatoes when it comes to their mashed potatoes, and you know, I'm not opposed to that, but to me, when it comes to making your classic creamy mashed potato, you want to go with the russet potato, and you want to be sure to remove all the skin. This just makes it so that way it's easier to mash, and because it's easier to mash, you can get it much creamier. And I don't know about you, but I like some creamy mashed potatoes. So you can see the preparation process on making the mashed potatoes starts off pretty simple. It's just peeling the potatoes, going with about 3 pounds or so. And once I get them peeled, I'm then going to give them a rinse and then cut them up into some smaller pieces so that way they cook faster, cook evenly, and make it easier to mash. And then I'm going to rinse them again. And then it'll be bringing them together into a pot and bringing them to a boil. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the prep work on the potatoes and get together the other ingredients before we move into actually cooking the potatoes. So I already rinsed these potatoes, and if you're wondering why rinse the potatoes, it's simple really, and it's because I want to remove some of the starch from the potatoes. That starch, removing it helps prevent foodborne illnesses for anything that is stuck or remaining on the skin of the potato, because it's clean. Also, with removing some of the starch, it's also going to help eliminate some of that stickiness that comes about from high starch foods like potato, and also it's just going to help a consistent cooking process. It's also important that when you do rinse your potatoes, or really anything that has the starch, it's important that you rinse with cold water, because if you're using warm or hot water, that's actually going to help activate the starch, and you certainly don't want to activate the starch. So I'm just working through now and just cutting up all of these potatoes just into some smaller pieces, just trying to more or less cut them in roughly the same size. Not too concerned about them being a perfect cut, just because it's just a quick chop. We're boiling it and then we're going to be mashing them up later, so we're not going to be looking at the final product of chopped potatoes. We're going to be looking at the final product of mashed potatoes. Okay, I'm going to get some other ingredients together. I'm going to get some apple cider vinegar, some butter, got some vegan whipping cream here, because as I know that some of you like to call out that whipping cream is not vegan. I'm aware of that, but for short I say use whipping cream, and you, per whatever your dietary choice is, use the appropriate ingredients. So for me, if I say whipping cream, I'm talking about vegan whipping cream, but I got this vegan whipping cream right over at Trader Joe's. And then we got some salt. I know it looks like a lot of salt, but realistically, you kind of need that amount of salt. It's potato that we're working with. All right, so we have the ingredients together, And while I go and give the potatoes another quick rinse and get a pot filled with water, I'm going to show you once again our ingredient list for this recipe, and I'll meet you right back to start cooking the potatoes. All right, so first we have our potatoes. We have them rinsed and chopped and ready to go. We have some butter, some apple cider vinegar, salt, and some heavy cream. All right, so we're going to start the cooking process. Just add all of the potatoes into the water. I'm going to cover that up. We're going to let those potatoes cook by boiling them for 15 minutes. And now that the potatoes are all done cooking, I'm just going to get them mashed and then start adding in the other ingredients. Okay, so now I have the mashed potatoes all mashed up. It's completed. I'm gonna go ahead and get this on a plate and try it out. Behind me I have some beef bulgogi cooking off. I'm going to have with these mashed potatoes. That's absolutely fantastic. This mashed potato is not just a side item that's going to blend in the background. This is going to make the dish. This is going to make the dinner. That's what you want to have when you add anything to your plate. You want to know it's there. You want it to stand out. These mashed potatoes, they're creamy, they're buttery, they have the right amount of salt, they're fluffy. These are the best mashed potatoes ever. Absolutely incredible. And I'm so glad that I got to share this recipe with you. I look forward to sharing so much more with you again real soon, because I'm your friend with food benefits. And I'll see you again real soon.